Hello everyone, my name is Avni Ratan. I am a consultant clinical psychologist and MPhil from IBHAS and currently a PhD scholar at University of Delhi. I am here today to discuss regarding the topic supportive psychotherapy. So, what is supportive psychotherapy? The derivation of the word support helps to clarify the type of therapy we are considering. Supportive, sup plus poter, which means to carry. So, this is the definition that has been given in the Oxford English Dictionary. Here, the therapist carries the patient. The therapist helps to sustain the patient, to bolster the patient, and the implication is that certain patients are so impaired by their psychiatric condition or they are severely limited with respect to their personality that they depend on a form of professionally derived psychological aid in order to survive. So, supportive therapy, it can be defined as a form of psychological treatment that is provided to a patient over an extended period, often for years, in order to sustain him psychologically because he is unable to manage his life adequately without this long term help. So, when we talk about supportive psychotherapy, we are looking at a longer treatment which may extend over a period of time. Which could be years also. So, an alternate way of defining supportive psychotherapy is that it is the supporting and the strengthening the potential for better and more mature ego functioning in both adaptational and developmental tasks. So, what we are doing here is developing ego functioning, enhancing it. So, for both adaptational and developmental tasks. While there are many definitions of supportive psychotherapy, Pinksir contributed on the issue of theory in supportive psychotherapy, which illuminated further the complexity of arriving at a uniform definition. So he concluded that since supportive therapy is not based upon a theory of mind or personality or psychopathology, it should not be thought of as a unique modality of treatment, but rather as a body of techniques or tactics that function with various theoretical orientations. So here, Pinksir focused, or he mentioned, he pointed towards that supportive psychotherapy is not based on a theory of mind. So supportive psychotherapy is not based on a theory of mind. Neither is it based on a theory of personality or psychopathology. So instead of thinking of it as a unique modality, one can rather take it as a body of techniques or tactics. So this is more about techniques and tactics that function with various theoretical orientations. So moving on to the aim of supportive psychotherapy. The aims of supportive psychotherapy will be influenced to a great extent by characteristics in the patient's age, prognosis, social circumstances, personal resources, and the like but common objectives can be summarized ahead. So, first would be to promote the patient's best possible psychological and social adaptation by restoring and reinforcing his abilities to cope with the challenges of life. So, the first would be the psychological and the social adaptation that we are going to work towards so that we can restore or we can even reinforce the abilities to cope. The second would be to bolster the client's self-esteem and self-confidence as much as possible by highlighting the assets and achievements. So we are also going to look at the client's assets and achievements. Post that, to make the client aware of the reality of his life situations, example his own limitations and those of treatment or what can and cannot be achieved. So here the limitations are not just clients but also of the adoptive treatment modality. To be very clear about what can be achieved and what cannot be achieved. Then we would be working towards a forestall or towards preventing a relapse of his clinical condition, and we would try to prevent deterioration or rehospitalization. Post that, to enable the patient to require only that degree of professional support which will result in his best possible adaptation and preventing undue dependency. Again, autonomy, where we are trying to prevent the undue dependency and we are providing that kind of professional support which would result in the best possible adaptation. Lastly, to transfer the source of support, not necessarily all of it from professional to relatives or to friends, provided the latter are available and they are in a position to take care psychologically and materially, to assume the role of the caregiver. So here we find a caregiver for the client. So, what are the indications that we are looking at when we talk about supportive psychotherapy? So, this type of therapy is indicated in psychiatric patients who are severely impaired both emotionally and in their interpersonal relationships. Alright, so they have a difficulty in their interpersonal relationships, they are unstable, they are impaired in emotions also, whom there is no prospect of basic improvement also. Sometimes the basic improvement is also a question mark. So there also we provide supportive psychotherapy. So Verman, he sums it up in this way that supportive psychotherapy assumes that the patient's psychological equipment is fundamentally inadequate, right? So here Verman gave the point that in supportive psychotherapy, we presume that the person's psychological equipment is fundamentally inadequate. He or she is not able to deal with the demands. So, because of their condition, they simply cannot live their lives without some form of external help. So, there are people who are relatively intolerant of life stresses, on occasion even on trivial demands. So commonly they encounter difficulty in seeking help, whether from professionals, whether from others, in an adaptive way or in applying help that is offered. Neither can they ask for help nor do they apply the offered help. So life changes often disrupt their equilibrium. They lead to symptom formation or they lead to increased dependency on others. So, Devold, he captures the gist of the criteria for supportive psychotherapy. Supportive therapy is usually indicated for people who have difficult, unstable, or limited interpersonal relationships, or they have they those who are not introspective or curious about themselves and their psychological functioning, for patients whose reality resources preclude the necessary frequency or expense of intensive psychotherapy. So those who cannot afford the logistics that come into the picture, supportive psychotherapy is also for those. So, or even it is for those who are interested in predominantly in symptomatic change and whose capacity for self-initiating behaviors is limited. So now, what is a typical patient in supportive psychotherapy is all about? So, as research indicates that a typical patient could be somebody with chronic schizophrenia and or related psychosis, including delusional and schizoaffective disorders. Or it could be we are looking at recurrent or chronic affective disorders, including unipolar, bipolar, cyclothymia, or dysthymia. So, apart from that, long standing neurotic and somatoform disorders, which include phobic and anxiety states, adjustment disorders, somatization, and hypochondriasis. We are also looking at severe personality disorders, including dependent, paranoid, schizoid, borderline, narcissistic, and histrionic types. So, clearly, not all patients within these clinical categories are impaired, and many progress satisfactorily with insight oriented psychotherapies and medication. So, we are here concerned with those who are severely and enduringly impaired. So, as a consequence, their needs have to be considered in terms of how they might be best assisted to accomplish their best possible adjustment and its maintenance. So, determining whether a patient of this type, which is outlined, is suitable or not for supportive psychotherapy does not usually pose a problem. Okay, so the determining that whether this person is suitable or not for supportive psychotherapy is usually it is not a problem. But conversely, the treatment has no place in those in whom there is an evidence of personal resources and strengths which are sufficient for independent coping. So we are looking at those who do not have any personal coping and strengths, and they are, so they're dependent on some sort of professional help. It can be used as part of intensive care, that is in crisis intervention, when a person with normal coping ability is overwhelmed by major stressors. So then the therapist may assume the responsibility temporarily.